Hello YouTube, this is Largo64 with part 7 of The Gods by Robert G. Ingersoll. It was pointed out to me in one of my comment sections that Nick Gisburn had already done this. Actually, he did it in one video because as a director account that he had, he was able to go for quite a lot longer than 10 minutes. And he did, I think he did the entire thing. But Gisburn 2000 right now, as it stands, has only a handful of videos on it. He took down most of what he had. And this isn't one of them. And I like to read these things anyway. So I'm going to plunge ahead and do it in my own way. My voice is not nearly as interesting to listen to as his, but I may have my own things to add. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to go back one paragraph as I've done before, so that we can get the continuity from the last episode. Even the advanced religionist, although disbelieving in any great amount of interference by the gods in this age of the world, still thinks that, in the beginning, some god made the laws governing the universe. He believes that in consequence of these laws, a man can lift a greater weight with than without a lever. That this God so made matter and so established the order of things that two bodies cannot occupy the same space at the same time, so that a body once put in motion will keep moving until it is stopped, so that it is a greater distance around than across a circle, so that a perfect square has 4 equal sides instead of 5 or 7. He insists that it took a direct interposition of providence to make the whole greater than a part, and that had it not been for this power superior to nature, twice 1 might have been more than twice 2, and sticks and strings might have had only one end apiece. Like the old Scotch divine, he thanks God that Sunday comes at the end instead of in the middle of the week, and that death comes at the close instead of at the commencement of life, thereby giving us time to prepare for that holy day and that most solemn event. These religious people see nothing but design everywhere, and personal, intelligent interference in everything. They insist that the universe has been created, and that the adaptation of means to ends is perfectly apparent. They point us to the sunshine, to the flowers, and to the April rain, and to all there is of beauty and of use in the world. Did it ever occur to them that a cancer is as beautiful in its development as the reddest rose? That what they are pleased to call the adaptation of means to ends is as apparent in the cancer as in the April rain? How beautiful the process of digestion! By what ingenious methods the blood is poisoned so that the cancer shall have food! By what wonderful contrivances the entire system of man is made to pay tribute to this divine and charming cancer! See by what admirable instrumentalities it feeds itself from the surrounding, quivering, dainty flesh. See how it gradually but surely expands and grows. By what marvelous mechanism it is supplied with long and slender roots that reach out to the most secret nerves of pain for sustenance and life. What beautiful colors it presents. Seen through the microscope, it is a miracle of order and beauty. All the ingenuity of man cannot stop its growth. Think of the amount of thought it must have required to invent a way by which the life of one man might be given to produce one cancer. Is it possible to look upon it and doubt that there is design in the universe, and that the inventor of this wonderful cancer must be infinitely powerful, ingenious, and good? We are told that the universe was designed and created, and that it is absurd to suppose that matter has existed from eternity, but that it is perfectly self-evident that a God has. If a God created the universe, then there must have been a time when he commenced to create. Back of that time, there must have been an eternity, during which there had existed nothing. Absolutely nothing, except this supposed God. According to this theory, this God spent an eternity, so to speak, in an infinite vacuum and in perfect idleness. Admitting that a God did create the universe, the question then arises, of what did he create it? It certainly was not made of nothing. Nothing, considered in the light of a raw material, is a most decided failure. I looked up and then lost my place. It follows then that the God must have made the universe out of himself, he being the only existence. The universe is material, and if it was made of God, the God must have been material. With this very thought in his mind, Anaximander of Miletus said, "Creation is the decomposition of the infinite." It has been demonstrated that the earth would fall to the sun only for the fact that it is attracted by other worlds, and those worlds must be attracted by other worlds still beyond them, and so on without end. This proves the material universe to be infinite. If an infinite universe has been made out of an infinite God, how much of the God is left? The idea of a creative deity is gradually being abandoned, and nearly all truly scientific minds admit that matter must have existed from eternity. It is indestructible, and the indestructible cannot be created. It is the crowning glory of our century, that's the 19th, to have demonstrated the indestructibility and the eternal persistence of force. Neither matter nor force can be increased nor diminished. Force cannot exist apart from matter. Matter exists only in connection with force, and consequently a force apart from matter and superior to nature is a demonstrated impossibility. Force, then, must have also existed from eternity and could not have been created. Matter in its countless forms, from dead earth to the eyes of those we love, and force in all its manifestations, from simple motion to the grandest thought, deny creation and defy control. Thought is a form of force. We walk with the same force with which we think. Man is an organism that changes several forms of force into thought force. Man is a machine into which we put what we call food and produce what we call thought. Think of that wonderful chemistry by which bread was changed into the divine tragedy of Hamlet. A God must not only be material, but he must be an organism, capable of changing other forms of force into thought force. This is what we call eating. Therefore, if the God thinks, he must eat. That is to say, he must of necessity have some means of supplying the force with which to think. It is impossible to conceive of a being who can eternally impart force to matter and yet have no means of supplying the force thus imparted. Neither matter nor force were created. What evidence have we then of the existence of a power superior to nature? The theologian will probably reply, we have law and order and cause and effect, and beside all this, matter could not have put itself in motion. Suppose, for the sake of the argument, that there is no being superior to nature, and that matter and force have existed from eternity. Now suppose that two atoms should come together. Would there be an effect? Yes. Suppose they came in exactly opposite directions with equal force. They would be stopped, to say the least. This would be an effect. If this is so, then you have matter, force, and effect without a being superior to nature. Now suppose that two other atoms, just like the first two, should come together under precisely the same circumstances. Would not the effect be exactly the same? Yes. Like causes producing like effects is what we mean by law and order. Then we have matter, force, effect, law, and order without a being superior to nature. Now we know that every effect must also be a cause, and that every cause must be an effect. The atoms coming together did produce an effect, and as every effect must also be a cause, the effect produced by the collision of the atoms must, as to something else, have been a cause. It's almost 10 minutes. I'm going to cut this off now and start again in, I think it's segment 8. Thanks for watching.